Hello, this is SimplyValorant, and we're going to do a overview over Sage's gameplay reveal. So, Sage is going to be a more classical support-like character. Some parallels that you can draw would be Mercy, but obviously she's going to be a lot more combat-focused than Mercy. And she also has a lot more utility than Mercy does. And a lot less mobility. If you're from Overwatch, and if you're from R6, an option that you could really draw from is Doc. Again, with more utility than Doc, and she will, generally speaking, be better than Doc. Now, we've been thinking about where you play Sage, because Sage is a very powerful character. You probably want to play her as, like, the third, the fourth, like, into the site. Or you might want to play her as a lurk. The reason is because if you play her as the third or the fourth, there's going to be a lot more corpses. And then if you decided to try to play her as the second or the first, and it might be difficult for you to get off her healing and some of her other abilities if you play her in that entry frag or the support role. If you're thinking about classical CSGO. Now, Lurk, on the other hand, she could potentially play Lurk. And what Lurk does, for those of you who don't know, is basically they stop people from rotating from, bomb site A to B, and they play for map control, and they watch the teams, they make sure the team doesn't get flanked. And that's basically what the Lurk's job is. Whether or not these roles will be similar in Valorant is unknown, but due to the similarities to R6, it's kind of assumed that will be the case. It will be interesting to see how Sage kind of pans out as a character. Due to the fact that it is not gone over, we're going to now take the time to talk about her resurrection. Her resurrection takes 7 orbs. These orbs can be obtained via the following methods. They can be obtained via kills, orbs on the map, because there are spawning orbs on the map, and the third option is objectives. It cannot be obtained via any other method, so you will need to... It is unlikely that you have this more than a couple of times per half, and only a few times per game. So, just be aware of that when you use your resurrection, that it's important to make sure that you get as much value as possible for it. We don't know a lot about it. So right now, she's prepping her heal for Jet, and you'll see over here that there is a little exclamation mark above her head. There's going to be an exclamation mark whenever a character is below 50% and you have your heal up. Your heal comes up every 35 seconds, by the way, for those of you who need to know. When you do this, it takes a 0.8 seconds to actually cast the ability or go through the animation, and then you must go through the full animation to retake out your gun once again. So you'll see that Jet will get healed. Now that heal does a initial burst heal, and then it slowly does a heal over time for it. Now, or hot. So hots are healing over time. So in case I ever use that terminology, now you know. Okay, it also has to be done in LOS or line of sight. So you can't do this from cover unless you can see the target. This is a very important note when it comes to healing somebody, as you'll need to make decisions on whether or not to peek for healing. Also to note when doing this, theoretically you could heal them and then they could peek out of cover and then the hot would heal them. However, I wouldn't recommend trying this technique, relying on the hot so much, just due to the fact that the game has a very low time to kill. With ops and, one-shot headshots from a lot of different weaponry in the game, it is unlikely that you would get full value if you try to heal in this nature. Okay. So here we see, this is her slow orb, the little black orb here. She gets 2 of these per round, and no more. These arc, and you'll see the arc here. And we'll also see her bounce this one off of the wall, and it will go down. When they bounce off of walls, they do arc downwards. It is unknown how many walls they can hit before they disappear, or if they ever disappear. In theory, if they never disappear, you could throw them over maps into various locations that you know players would be at. Because the Riot devs have said there is no skybox. I don't know if that's still the case or if that will be true upon release. So here we'll see the slow fully extend. This takes about 1 second for it to fully extend once hitting the ground. This will also ground people. So when they're grounded, they can't jump. It is unknown if this also would affect movement, like updraft from jet or other forms of movement, but it is known that it does negate jumping of any kind. So here we go. So here we see her wall. Now you see that there are 3 different kinds of uses for her walls. It's only known what this one does, the placement. The other 2 are currently unknown. This one is assumed to rotate in some capacity, but it's unknown. So the wall takes about 1 second to fully grow to its full size, and you'll see that there are segments, like right here and right here. Now each one of these segments has a certain amount of HP. It's unknown how much HP that is, but you can fire enough rounds at this that it will break, and the entire segment will break. However, the entire wall will not break. Also to note some potentials with this, due to the amount of wall banging in this game being more akin to CS 1.6, more so than like CSGO, you could potentially drop a silver arrow behind this wall, put up the wall, and then bang people through the wall so they can't see you, but you can see them. However, it's unknown how much damage this actually blocks, but if previous footage of wall bangs is true, they're only going to last maybe an extra round. So here we see Sage peek this corner, and she will 2-tap Phoenix. Now it is unknown whether or not he has armor. It is assumed that he does, but in the scenario that he doesn't, we know for a fact it takes 2 shots with the classic, which is this gun. It's the default gun. If you play Counter-Strike or you play, if you play Counter-Strike, that would be like the USP, the P2000, or the Glock. And it takes 2 shots to kill any player with the classic. So we'll see him die here. That was SimplyValorant, and that was the full breakdown of Sage's teaser trailer.